Hello and welcome to this edition of SFG Top Performance for the feed and grain departments. My name is Mark White. I'm the grain merchandiser for Smith Fertilizer and Grain. And with me today is Scott Goetz, who is the manager at our Milo location, and he will be speaking for the feed department. And I think he might even have an announcement about some improvements we're going to make at that location this summer. So we'll start off with some grain news. We're coming off a big week of reports. Wednesday, they released, the USDA released their quarterly stocks report. Not any big surprises in that one. Corn came in just a little under what the average trade was expecting. They found a few beans, and I think they decided these were beans that were in the process of being shipped there earlier in the year when the January report came out. And so they made an adjustment there, maybe took the edge off of being short old crop beans coming into the summer. We'll see what they say here in next week when the April stocks report comes out. The big news was in the planting intentions report. Every once in a while, the USDA just shocks you. I mean, that's the easiest way to say it. And that happened Wednesday in the intentions report. We'll start with the corn. They estimate 91.1 million acres of corn to be planted this coming year in the United States. And that was versus a trade guess estimate of 93.2. And the 91.1 was lower than the lowest private estimate. And that has never happened. That's pretty dramatic. Last year, we planted 90.8 million acres. So the 21 estimate is only 300,000 more than the acres that were planted in 20. Quite a departure from what everybody expected. That continued a little bit into the bean report. They estimate 87.6 million acres of beans to be planted. The average trade guess was just short of 90 million. And last year, we planted 83.1. So if we take trend line yields with these numbers times the acres they estimate, our corn carryout would drop some more and get down to closer to that 1 billion mark, which is kind of the critical line as far as when rationing really kicks in. And our bean carryout would decrease further. And it's already at a low spot today. So again, the government acres just don't match up. If you go back to the USDA Outlook Conference in February, the combined acres between that report and this report, we lost 3.25 million acres, and that's not normal. Wheat gained, maybe a 1.4 million acres over estimates. So a few acres went there, but they're still missing acres. With the increase in pricing, I don't see prevent planting being a big issue this year. Farmers are going to plant if at all possible because the incentive is there. So, off the cuff, I say maybe this is the government's way of ensuring our cheap food policy. They want to make sure every acre gets planted. And I hope we're not playing with the numbers, but sometimes that's what it looks like. Back to prevent plant, we've seen some wet years when we had 8 or 10 million acres, but a normal year, 2 to 3 million is actual in the prevent plant side. So this has created kind of a bear spreading in the markets. Wednesday we were limit up. Locked up the limit on corn and beans both for a year or better on the trade. And then Thursday, they backed off a little bit, but bear spreading became an issue. And the nearby corn and beans come back a little bit, come back lower, while new crop continued their rise. And we'll probably see more of that as the emphasis now focuses on new crop and less on old crop as we go forward. Especially if we should happen to have some planting issues down the road. So spring weather will play a big role here. Today it looks like we've got a favorable forecast throughout the Midwest to get the crop in on the early side. Traditionally, that means we plant corn. Those extra acres would typically go to corn. One holdup might be the cost of planting an acre of corn. We've had recent increases in fertilizer that's probably went up 40–50% in a lot of cases. So that might give beans a little more of an advantage. As we look at these new crop prices, we're back in the $12 range for beans for fall delivery. Corn still lagging just a little in the mid 4 price range, in the 440s somewhere. I think 450 would buy a lot of new crop corn from some producers. Whether we'll get to $5, it'll take some weather issues sometime between now and the pollination to force that up a little more. So all in all, the report was positive for grains. That continues a trend that we've had for probably the last 6 months, where we've had good reports coming from the USDA as far as being profitable to farmers. So as always, feel free to call any of our locations to talk about grain pricing. They'll get in touch with myself or get you in touch with me, and we can discuss some options. Also want to tell everybody every week on our website, we have blogs. I write one every week on the grain side. The feed guys take turns, but there's always a fresh one for feed and agronomy both. It's a good place to get some current information. Just go to sfgiowa.com and it'll pop up, and you can look at our blogs right there on the front page. You can click on them there and get some current information. So Scott, I know things are happening up in the Milo area. Calves are dropping. Anhydrous is going on. Lots going on. Give us an update on what you see.
Yeah, Mark, I got some exciting news here. Last Tuesday, crews showed up and we started a little remodel project on our grain facility. Right now they're tearing out all the overhead augers and drags that we had up there. They're old and small and worn out, and we're replacing all those with high capacity drags. They're going to rebuild the 2 legs inside the wood elevator, get them so we can run them up to full capacity. And we're going to install a new leg on the outside, a high-speed leg that'll do corn to the big bin and the wet bin. So all that stuff, we should be able to unload trucks twice as fast as we did last year, and hopefully minimum breakdowns, and keep everybody rolling through here a lot faster next fall. So that's kind of exciting news for Milo. On the feed side of it, it's warmed up. The grass is green and starting to grow. I've even heard of some cows that are going to pasture now. Just keep in mind it's time to get your high mag mineral or tubs out, whichever one you use. You want to get them out a couple of weeks before you turn out to grass. This allows the mag to get through their system before they hit the green grass, so you get the best that you can for controlling grass tetany. Along with the grass, the flies are starting to wake up. It's not too early to start feeding fly control mineral. You want to feed that clear through till after the first frost in the fall. And also don't forget about your bulls and your replacement heifers. If you got them shut up, you need to make sure they have access to good mineral and are staying in good shape. Bulls need mineral for reproduction just like your cows do, and you want to make sure that your replacement heifers are in the best health they can be in when they hit the pasture to get bred. We're all stocked up on mineral for the summer, so make sure you contact us for all your mineral needs. I hope everybody's calving season's going good this year. I know some dry dirt and some green grass sure makes it feel a lot better outside. It's still kind of early, but we are getting some booking prices on our creep now. As you would expect, they are up from last year. However, I think if you feed a quality creep feed, you can still see a profit from it. And there's been a lot of talk here lately about maybe having drier than normal weather this summer, so it's also a good way to stretch your grass out a little bit so it can last you through the summer a little easier that way. So you need to give us a call and find out more about our creep programs that we got for this year. These are just a few things to think about before you climb into the planter tractor. Make sure your cow program's in line, and then when you hit the field, all you got to worry about is getting your corn planted. So I think we've about got everything around here ready to roll. We just need a couple more dry days, and I think everybody will be running then. That's all I got for you, Mark.
Well, thanks, Scott. That's exciting news about the Milo location. Ever since we bought that facility, we've had ideas of what we need to do to improve the efficiency up there and to track more grain. One of the goals that Smith Fertilizer always has is fast unloads. We recognize that your truck doesn't do you any good if it's sitting in line waiting to unload. And so that's our emphasis for this coming year, is to improve that tremendously and make the reliability a lot better. So that'll be the first step in what might be a couple other things down the road as we go forward. That's going to wrap it up for this edition of SFG Top Performance. Please tune in, and again in a couple weeks. Every week we have a new podcast. The agronomy department takes 1 week, and then the feed and grain takes the next week. So we always try to keep some fresh information out there for you in a short time frame. Thanks for tuning in.